Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is the game preview. Everton taking on Crystal Palace away from home in the Premier League on Sunday afternoon. 4:30 kickoff for the Toffees on Sunday as Rafa Benitez's Everton side look to make it 2 on the bounce after Monday's fantastic result and performance against Arsenal. The win against Arsenal was great, but it doesn't solve all of our problems, and it certainly doesn't take us out of this sticky situation that we currently find ourselves in after going 2 months without a win. So for as good as Arsenal was, and for as good as Monday night felt, and for as amazing as it was to talk about it and to review it, it simply means that we've got to go and make it 2 on the bounce on Sunday. If we turn up on Sunday and lose to Crystal Palace, then that result against Arsenal becomes numb, doesn't it, effectively? Because, okay, we've won a game and we've performed well, but if we can't go and follow it up and make it 2 on the bounce on Sunday, then we're still in this sticky, horrible situation that we're in at the moment that we really, really need to get out of. Crystal Palace are a decent side, obviously. Patrick Vieira managing them now. And they've had some games this season where they've played really, really well, beating Manchester City, of course, being the most noticeable one. They've had some performances that you look at them and think these could cause a lot of teams in this league real big problems. But they've also had some performances that you look at them and they haven't been so great as well. They've lost games. They haven't really performed as well as maybe they should have. And there's certainly a team that Everton can get at. And for me, Everton should be looking to pick up all 3 points against. As I said, the result on Monday night was brilliant, but it doesn't take us out of 2 months without a win. That situation has put us into. We really need to start picking up points, and we really need to start picking up points consistently. We've got a couple of really difficult games coming up after this one. We've got Chelsea on Thursday, of course, midweek away from home, which is going to be a massively difficult game. We've got Leicester the following weekend, which again, although Leicester aren't in great form at the moment, they're still a side with a lot of quality, and then it'll be a difficult test. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, you get into Christmas, and whilst a couple of wins can propel you, comfortably up the table, and we could be sitting in those positions where we are maybe, talking about a European fight come Christmas, we could also be sitting here talking about a relegation battle as well. So it's absolutely imperative that we win as many games of football as we possibly can, and this one on Sunday for me is an absolute must win. Again, the game on Monday against Arsenal was a must win. I wouldn't have taken anything less. I said it, on the Friday before, and it's the same for this game on Sunday. Although Crystal Palace can put in, a decent performance and have got some real quality players, certainly forward players that can hurt Everton. Conor Gallagher, of course, on loan from Chelsea, I believe, has been absolutely fantastic this season and has caused a lot of teams problems, including Manchester City in that game, of course. They've got the likes of Edouard, who come in the summer, who's looked good. Benteke all of a sudden has found his feet a little bit after struggling for the last couple of seasons. Obviously, they've got Wilfried Zaha, who we know about as well. So they're definitely a team with players that could cause Everton problems. But I just hope that the confidence that this Everton team will have gained from that win on Monday will be enough to pull us through on Sunday afternoon. Because as I said, it was a fantastic win. It was absolutely brilliant. The performance was much better than anything that we've seen of recent. And yes, we still made, a couple of mistakes. And yes, maybe we got a little bit lucky that Arsenal's finishing wasn't great. But to win a game of football in the last couple of minutes like we did with a goal as amazing as Damari Gray's, I think it sort of brought us, back to what it feels like to be an Evertonian and how it feels to be, a supporter and a fan of this football club, and ultimately that's all we want to feel. All that we want is Everton to be a success. Evertonians, I've said it once and I'll say it a million times. We don't want Mbappe, we don't want Messi, we don't want Neymar, we don't want the whale, we don't want to be winning the World Cup and the Champions League every 10 minutes. We just want our team to fight and be successful, and for far too many years our Everton sides down the years haven't fought and haven't been very successful. And as I said, the win on Monday doesn't solve all of the problems at the football club, and if we win on Sunday against Palace, that won't solve all of the problems either. But as I said before Monday's game, there's a game of footy to be played, so we can talk about the issues with the board, we can talk about the issues with recruitment, we can talk about the issues with the manager. There's been a lot that has come out over the last couple of days about changes at the football club, other people moving on. Obviously after Marcel Brands left the football club, there's been a couple of other names that have been moved on, and different people coming into different positions and stuff. But as I said, that's a topic for another day. Ultimately, there's a game of footy to be played, the Premier League table doesn't take into consideration what your situation is with your board. At the end of the season, if we're 19th in the league, the Premier League won't look at it and go, yeah, but the Evertonians weren't happy with their board or with their manager or with changes of the football club, so we'll give them an extra 10 or 15 points. They won't. They'll look at it and go, the 19th, they're going into the Championship. So ultimately, there's a game of football to be played and there's a game of football to be won on Sunday, and Everton have got to go out and make sure we can do that. I wouldn't have been very confident coming into this game had we not have beaten Arsenal, to be honest with you, because as I said, Palace are a very up and down team at the moment. One week they're very, very good and the next week they can be really, really poor, but they've proven on a number of occasions this season under Patrick Vieira that that the football they can play can certainly hurt teams. They can get at teams and they can exploit mistakes, and Everton, prior to Monday, of course, were making a ridiculous amount of mistakes, not scoring goals, not winning games. We just looked, we were at absolute rock bottom, and as I said, I fully understand those Evertonians saying, yeah, but Monday doesn't solve everything. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden we're going to be great again. It doesn't, but the manager has been saying constantly over this last couple of month period that we've struggled to win games of football. It only takes that one win. Sometimes it only takes that one win. If we get that one win, then the confidence comes back, and Rafa Benitez has mentioned this on a number of occasions, and now we've got that one win. Let's hope that we start to see a confident Everton side. Let's hope that we see an Everton side on Sunday go out there and perform to the best of their ability, because if we do, I've got no doubt that we'll be Crystal Palace, and that's no disrespect to Crystal Palace whatsoever, but I've got no doubt that Everton will have more than enough on Sunday, even with some of the injuries that we're going to talk about in a moment, to go out there and get all 3 points. But if we turn up and we perform like we have recently, i.e. prior to the Arsenal game, i.e. Watford, Wolves, Brentford, then, Palace can more than comfortably pick up 3 points as well, and that would be an absolute disaster for me. The worst scenario, and it's the worst case scenario every time Everton play, but it would be extra worse for me this Sunday is if we lose, because it's bad, as I said, every time you lose, you never want to see your team lose, but it would be a real sort of 1 step forward and 3 steps back if we lose this game on Sunday, because everything that, as I said, that come with the Arsenal game, the elation, the emotion, the happiness, the last minute winner, the atmosphere at Goodison Park, just the overall sort of massive weight off of our shoulders because we finally won that first game in whatever it was, 8, 9, 10 games. If we lose again on Sunday, all of that is just straight in the bin, and it doesn't matter. We've simply got to carry this on now. We've simply got to make it 2 on the bounce for me. There's no other positive outcome on Sunday. A point wouldn't be enough against the Crystal Palace team that I think is there for the taking. So it's got to be 3 points, as I said. Big thanks to everybody for joining us live. By the way, if you are watching live and you were enjoying, please do hit that like button. It does only take a second. If you're watching live and you want to get involved with the stream, get your thoughts in the live comments, and we'll get involved with as many of them as we possibly can as well. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. We will get in the live comments very, very shortly. But let's have a look at Crystal Palace so far this season. As I said, Patrick Vieira coming in the summer, new manager, Roy Hodgson, of course, leaving very recently. They were linked with Lucien Favre, of course, for a long time. Lucien Favre decided he didn't want, he didn't want a job at the moment. They were linked with Nuno Espirito Santo when we were linked with them as well, and they did end up going for Patrick Vieira. And Patrick Vieira, I think, has come in and sort of is establishing a way of playing, is establishing an identity at Crystal Palace. And yes, some weeks they don't perform and some weeks they pick up disappointing results, but as I said, we've seen other weeks where they've gone out there and they've looked the business, they've looked really strong, they've performed really well. And I can remember on a couple of occasions, the Manchester City game being one of them, sitting back and watching this Palace team and thinking, these know what they're doing. It's not just a lucky result, it's not just a fluke. Okay, Manchester City were, absolutely awful on that day, and I've said it before, I say it when it comes to Everton. For any team to beat Manchester City, they have to rely on Manchester City having a bad game, but Crystal Palace was still very organised, they played very well, they were structured, they didn't panic when they went 1-0 up, they didn't panic when it was going their way, they continued going. Manchester City obviously scored in that game, Jesus scored, it was disallowed, and they didn't sort of panic and think, shit, they've gotten through now. Are they gonna switch it up a gear? They just kept it, they kept the pace at their level, carried on passing it around. As I said, Conor Gallagher has been fantastic this season and was a fantastic signing in the summer as well. So Crystal Palace currently sitting 14th in the Premier League. They've played 15, won 3, drew 7 and lost 5. They've actually lost less than Everton have lost, but Everton have won 2 more games than Crystal Palace. They currently sit 2 points behind Everton in the Premier League and a couple of places as well. So again, all the more reason as to why this is an absolute must-win for Rafa Benitez's Everton side on Sunday. Not only will it, if we don't win, will it just completely, throw everything that, that Monday night was out the window, but Crystal Palace will also end up leapfrogging us. There's a couple of other games that go on at the weekend, of course. That means teams could jump above us, and we could very much be sitting here on, Monday morning effectively in the same position as we were sitting before the game against Arsenal, which again would further confirm the clarification that the Arsenal game would just be null and voided. It wouldn't matter, it wouldn't mean anything, and that's really not the situation we want to be in, especially given we've got Chelsea on Thursday away from home, which will be an extremely difficult game, it goes without saying. And we've got Leicester at the weekend, which again, Leicester aren't in the greatest run of form, granted, and they're very beatable, Leicester, but they're still a difficult team to play. But it's also about Everton going out there and showing that this team can put in a performance and win games of football without the need for 40,000 Evertonians behind them. The atmosphere for me on Monday was fantastic. It wasn't constant. There was moments in the game where it was a little bit quiet, and there was moments in the game where there was a little bit of nervousness. You could tell that, but that was because it was such a big game with so much on the line. But certainly, when Damari Gray's goal went in, even when Richarlison's second offside went in, the crowd was lifted. Goodison Park was what we all know and love Goodison Park to be. At the end of the game, when that final whistle went, that was the best atmosphere I've felt at Goodison Park probably since Duncan Ferguson managed the game against Chelsea. It was electric. Everybody was behind the players. Everybody knew the importance of getting that 3 points, and the players knew the importance of getting that 3 points, and that's why in the 86th, 87th, 88th minute, when it was 1-1 and we could have just went, you know what, we're playing Arsenal, shut up shop here, this isn't a bad point. That's why the likes of Richarlison, Damari Gray, Andre Gomez, when he come on, pushed for that winner, because they knew the importance of 3 points, as did we as fans. But that's all well and good when you're playing at Goodison Park and the fans are up for it, and you're playing against an Arsenal team who, let's be honest, aren't very good. It's a different kettle of fish when you're playing away from home against the Crystal Palace side, who again are sort of inconsistent this season. Can this Everton team go out there and do the business, pull their socks up and go, do you know what, with all due respect to Crystal Palace, we've got a better quality of player than these have. We're going to take this confidence and momentum from the results against Arsenal, and we're going to put it into play here, because that's what I hope Everton do. I really do, because you won't have 40,000 Blues at Selhurst Park on Sunday afternoon, screaming and shouting and getting obviously the away fans that go will be doing that, and I'm sure they'll make as much noise as possible, and it might sound like there's 40,000 of them there, but the players have got to do their part. Now, the players can't simply become, it can't be that they can only perform when the fans perform. I get Seamus Coleman coming out and saying, oh, the fans are brilliant, they were our 12th man, this, that and the other, but that isn't going to be the case every week. These group of players need to go out there and show that some weeks they can turn up and put a performance in and win a game of football comfortably without the need for the fans being there. The fans will always be there and always back the team, of course, but these players have got to take some responsibility as well and take some of that weight on their shoulder. And as I said, let's hope that they can do that on Sunday. As I said, Crystal Palace haven't had the greatest couple of weeks in regards to results. They lost 1-0 to Manchester United away from home last time out. Of course, that was when Manchester United knew they were getting a new manager, new bounce, all of that sort of stuff. So, a difficult game, all things considered. They lost to Leeds away the week before that, lost to Aston Villa in their last home game, drew with Burnley away the week before that, 3-3, and the last time they won was against Wolves, and that was at Selhurst Park a few weeks back. So they're winless in their last 4 games, Crystal Palace. So again, they're not in the greatest run of form whatsoever. Their confidence will be low, and they'll be coming into this one probably thinking we really could have done with Everton not playing Arsenal on Monday night, because they'll have been thinking on Saturday, Sunday afternoon, right, if Everton can't go out there and get 3 points against Arsenal, this will be our big chance to go out there next week and go and get a win. We'll be playing against an Everton side that are low on confidence, not very, again, there's a lot of frustration surrounding the football club, there's a lot of controversy surrounding the manager and the board and the director of football and this, that and the other. We can go out there and really take advantage of that. Monday night, Crystal Palace had been looking Patrick Vieira, the players that have been looking, thinking, right, this Everton team is going to come in with a new level of confidence now. There'll be a new level of momentum. There'll be an understanding that we need to make it 2 on the bounce, as I've said before, because we do. It's as simple as that. As simple as that. We go out and get a point on Sunday, then for me, it's useless. If we go out and lose, it's useless. We've got to make it 2 on the bounce. We've got to go out there and continue this run of form. And Crystal Palace will be aware of that. And therefore, they'll understand that they've got to work harder. They've got to, they've got to do more. They've got to search deeper. They've got to dig deeper. And Everton have got to be able to match that. Everton have got to understand that this Crystal Palace team is in as much in need of a win as Everton were before Monday. And Everton still are now. So it will be a difficult game. It always is a difficult game at Selhurst Park. And I remember last season we beat them. I think we had a penalty. It was really early on in the season. It was only, I think it might have been the second, third game of the season, something like that. We got a penalty for a handball that wouldn't be given in this day and age. But at that, in this day and age, it's only a year later, wouldn't be given now because the rules have changed. But at that time, the rule was if it's sanctioned and in any situation, it's a penalty. And we got a penalty and we won the game. On that, over the last few years, we've drawn games there. I remember a 0-0 on the opening game of the season a couple of years back, which was absolutely torrid to watch. Games we've drew 1-1 with them, so it's not historically the easiest place for Everton to go. Selhurst Park, it isn't, but we've got to go out there and do the business for me on Sunday afternoon. I want to talk about Rafa Benitez's pre-game press conference today, specifically the injuries that Rafa Benitez has spoken about. I also want to talk about Rafa Benitez on Demarai Gray. Spoke about Demarai Gray today and the impact that he has had. We're going to talk about Crystal Palace and some of their danger men as well, and the players that we need to look out for on Sunday. And then, of course, we'll be doing our predicted starting 11. So if you are enjoying, please do hit that thumbs up button. It does only take a second. And if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. If you could leave a like, that would be absolutely brilliant. If you're watching as a YouTube video, don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments down below, and we will be getting involved with as many of them as we can. If you're watching live, get your thoughts live and we'll be getting involved with them. Let's get into the live comments then. Tom says, would you go with the same team, Cam? Well, I'll be doing my predicted starting 11 in a moment, so we'll see which side I want to go with. But spoiler, it's not the same team. Nimbus says, hey up Cam, what's happening mate? Dave Tobby says, how you doing Cam? Hope all as well. I'm not too bad mate, done a bit of Christmas shopping today. So, we're getting there, Will says, today in midfield, please, Rafa, loving the streams, Cam, lad, keep up the quality work. Thank you very much, my mate, really appreciate it. Tom says, hi Tom, hope you're doing well. Nimbus Cloud Gaming says, 100% agree. Carter says, yes, Cam, hope you're doing well, mate. Hopefully 3 points on Sunday serves as an early Christmas present. I'm not too bad. Hope you're doing well. Let's hope so, mate. Let's hope so. We've got about another 420 games to go before Christmas, to be fair, but 3 points on Sunday will be much, much needed, I'll tell you that. Wormy says, Cam, lad, hey guys, how's everyone doing? What's happening? Paul says, that last half hour against Arsenal showed he has to play 3 in midfield. I agree. Mr. Blue Sky says, happy that Benitez is draining the swamp. Well, there's a number of people that have left Everton over the last week or so, or are certainly due to leave Everton over the last week or so. Some will be people that you've never heard of. Some will be people that you have heard of. We'll probably do a separate video on that. Might do that video tomorrow, to be honest, talking about, the changes currently at Everton Football Club and what this means. It very much feels at the moment that Rafa Benitez is being given a lot of responsibility by the owner, which is risky considering the position that we're in the league. It's not like we're in the top 4. It's not like we're challenging for the title. It's not like we're comfortably in the European positions. We're in a very, very, very risky position in the Premier League to give the manager the responsibility that he seems to be given. But as I said, that seems to be the case at the moment. Sababy says Iwobi isn't a serious footballer. The Iwobi 8 is flying in already. He's not done anything wrong. We haven't even played yet. Jake says, hello Cam, hello mate. C-Play says, Cam, thanks for the stream to get me through my work tonight. Thank you, my mate, really appreciate it. Niall says, hola, what's happening, Niall? Sean says, Benitez is a crash waiting to happen. The longer he is there, the more players he will destroy. He always needs a fall guy to take the blame. If you think he is the answer, why get rid of Allardyce? Interesting. And Gamba says, we have a good chance, but as the game progresses, players have to stay on point. Yeah, I agree. Well, let's have a look at some of the danger players of Crystal Palace then, because they have got a couple of players there that I think Everton really, really need to look out for on Sunday. Conor Gallagher has been in absolutely unbelievable form this season. I think he's on loan from Chelsea. Really, really good player. Actually, somebody that I would hope that Everton would be looking at to go and make a purchase in the summer. I don't know if Crystal Palace have got a buy clause on him, an option to buy or an obligation to buy at the end of his loan, but if not, I'd certainly be having that conversation with Chelsea and trying to, sort of step in there and hijack that deal, because I think he's been absolutely brilliant, and I've watched him play, and I think he is exactly the type of midfielder that I would love at Everton. They've got the likes of Edouard, of course, Odsonne Edouard, who come in from Celtic, I believe, this summer. Really, really good goal scorer, good finisher. Hasn't been in the greatest run of form recently, but has shown already this season in the Premier League that he can score goals. He knows where the back of the net is, and he can hurt teams if you give him an opportunity. More often than not, he'll take that opportunity, and he'll make you pay for it. And as I said, further proving the fact that we can't allow Crystal Palace to be given opportunities on Sunday. One thing I would say about Monday, and I didn't really mention it in the review to the game against Arsenal, because we wanted to keep it all positive, and we'd won a game for the first time in about 14 years, and it was just great. But one thing I would say is that we did give up Arsenal a number of opportunities that you would expect them to take. The Nketiah chance is an absolute sitter for me, an absolute sitter. He's about 5 yards out with an open goal, and he heads it onto the post. And the Aubameyang shot in the last minute, the last kick of the game, is for a player of the level of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, for his goal scoring record in the Premier League over the years. That is an absolute sitter as well. So we can sit here and talk about the Arsenal game as a massive positive, and how good we were and how much improved we were. And we were at the top end of the field. Richarlison, you could argue it was his best game in an Everton shirt. Demarai Gray was unbelievable. We were fighting when we brought Gomez on. The three in midfield were fantastic. But defensively, we still gifted Arsenal a couple of opportunities that, had they have been a little bit better on the day, it could have been a very different conversation we were having on Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, about that game. And it's imperative that we don't do the same on Sunday with Crystal Palace. I don't want Christian Benteke standing at the back post on his own with 5 minutes to go with a free header, because okay, Eddie Nketiah might have hit the post. I don't think Christian Benteke hits the post in that situation. I don't want Odsonne Edouard, getting a free ball played into him and having a one-on-one with Jordan Pickford with a couple of minutes to go, because, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang might have blasted that one wide. But I do think that, Edouard, might put it in the back of the net, and you would expect most Premier League strikers to have put that in the back of the net as well. So defensively, we've got to be on point, and we've got to be better than we were on Monday. We were good on Monday, and we were much better than we have been, but we've got to be better again, because we can't be allowing those types of chances to fall to Palace on Sunday. They've got the likes of Zaha, of course, who we know. Blows hot and cold for me, Wilfried Zaha, but has always got that quality to be able to turn a game on its head at any given point. So he's certainly a player we'll have to look out for. As I mentioned, Benteke, who's had, a new lease of life this season, it almost seems. It seemed like he was sort of a bit part player, somebody that, they couldn't really rely on. But this season, he's really, really come up and started to score some really, really important goals. I know we missed a couple of sitters last week, I think it was. Against Leeds, he missed a real big header to put them 1-0 up with 5 minutes to go before Leeds went up the other end and got a penalty. But he still is, again, goal scoring wise this season, he's been a lot better than he usually is. Michael Olise is, a good young player who again is looking sharp, looking, up to the task. So Palace have certainly got a lot of good, talented players, certainly in the attacking areas. Defensively, I think they can be got at. I do. I think defensively they can be exploited. Got a decent goalkeeper in there. Gaeta, I think he had an absolutely fantastic game at Goodison Park last season. He was brilliant, if I remember correctly. But this, as I said, they're a team that can be got at, and they're a team that can be exploited, and it's up to Everton ultimately to do that on Sunday. On Sunday afternoon. Before we get back in the live comments, then let's talk about Rafa Benitez's pre-game press conference. Rafa Benitez has had this pre-game press conference earlier this afternoon. He confirmed that Yerry Mina, Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Tom Davies are all still out injured. He said Dominic Calvert-Lewin is getting a bit closer. I'm sick of hearing that, to be honest with you, because Dom's been getting closer and closer for about the last fucking 2 months, a month and a half, 2 months. Yerry Mina, of course, picked up that injury against Arsenal on Monday night and had to be taken off very early on in the game for Mason Holgate. Rafa Benitez didn't go into detail on Yerry Mina's injury, I don't think. He just stated that he was out with an injury. And according to Rafa Benitez, Tom Davies could potentially start training with the first team next week. So again, we're probably still at least a couple of weeks or so away from seeing Tom Davies in the first team. So no real shocks with injury news. I know some people might be a little bit shocked about Yerry Mina, but let's be honest, when he went off on Monday, I think I turned around and said to me, brother, we won't see him now for another 2 or 3 months. And that's part of the problem with Yerry Mina for me. I love him. I think he's great. I think personality-wise, he's unbelievable. I think in terms of a player, when he's fit, he's our best centre-half. But that lack of reliability and that inconsistency in his fitness is becoming a real issue, and I think will be a real factor in whatever decision Everton make in regards to whether or not he's given a new contract. The manager did say that Alan has been training recently. He specifically pointed out Alan, which I thought was slightly strange because we obviously weren't aware that there was any form of problem with Alan, or certainly I wasn't aware that there was any problem with Alan. It doesn't really surprise me considering he's played an awful lot of football recently, so it doesn't surprise me massively that Alan may be feeling like he needs a little bit of a rest, but Rafa Benitez did say, bear with me 2 seconds, Rafa Benitez did say that Alan did half a training session, so I don't know whether that means he'll be available on Sunday and he's only done half a training session today because they want him to be as fit as possible for Sunday, or whether he's done half a training session today because he's not fit. I'm not too sure, but I'm sure we'll wait and see on that one. And Solomon Rondon is available and has been training as well, which I think is really, really interesting, because obviously Solomon Rondon was out injured for the game against Arsenal, and for me, I don't think Solomon Rondon has done enough so far since joining Everton to warrant starting for Everton, at least yet, certainly given how good Richarlison was on Monday night. So yeah, there you go. Again, no real big sort of surprises with injury news there. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is getting closer, still continuing his individual training. As to when he will be back, your guess is as good as mine. Yerry Mina is injured again. No real surprise. Alan doing half a training session is a little bit strange, but we'll wait and see how that one plays out. And Tom Davies could be due back in training next week. If you're enjoying, by the way, please hit that like button. It does only take a second. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. That would be absolutely fantastic as well. If you're watching live, get your thoughts in the live comments and we'll be getting involved with them in just a second. If you watch as a YouTube video, get your thoughts down below as well. If you're watching the stream, by the way, and you're thinking, I know somebody that I'd love to get involved with this, I know somebody that I'd love to have a chat or to talk about Everton, then share the stream, get it on social media, Twitter, Instagram, all of that sort of stuff, get as many people in as we can. Let's get back into the live comments then. Gamba says we have a good chance, but as the same as the game progresses, players have to stay on point. I think we read that one out. Sachin says you can take McTominay from us if your players are missing passion. You're alright, mate, you're alright. You're alright. Jebo says Sue. Nice. Suthi says, hopefully Benitez will target young talent in the recruitment department more than Brands did. I'm worried Rafa will only go out for 33-year-olds. Well, it was mad because Everton were linked once again with Aaron Ramsey a couple of days ago. And a lot of people were surprised that we were being linked with Aaron Ramsey, and for me it was no surprise to me whatsoever. A 30-odd-year-old injury-prone player on ridiculous wages pretty much ticks every box for Everton's recruitment, doesn't it? They'd have been looking at Aaron Ramsey going, he is absolutely perfect, he's 30-odd years old, he's always injured, he'll be on a shitload of money a week, he is absolutely the dream for financial failure that Everton have done for the last however many years. He ticks every box for Everton Football Club, so it didn't surprise me whatsoever that we were linked with him. If we do go out and sign Aaron Ramsey for any form of transfer fee, I think it would be absolutely ridiculous. He's a decent footballer on his day, but his day is very, very rare. Yes, Jebo, I'm sub to you, says Jake, is right. Toothy says 420, bro. Delamere is going for 3-1 Palace. Optimistic, I like it. Sababy says, are you doing a January transfer video? I will be doing one, but it probably will be in January, to be honest with you, because the next couple of weeks, not just in regards to Everton, but life in general, of course, as you can imagine, with Christmas and stuff like that, is absolutely manic. So at the moment, we're going to be focusing on the games, previews, reviews, instant match reactions, all of that. I do want to do a video about the board, and we will be doing a video about the board next week when we get a chance. And I also want to do a video about Yerry Mina and his situation, because I think it's a really, really interesting one. Sababy says, is Kyle John better than John Joe Kenny? I don't know, mate. I don't know. David says that was a good run against Arsenal. It was going against us, but Richarlison played his heart out and Gray. Wow, Palace is a game we can win. Spot on. Palace is a game we must win. Bit of a mad comment, Delamere, but there you go. Will says any time frame on when Dom's back. Seems like it's been forever now. Again, getting closer. That's all we seem to be hearing. Ramsey's not fit, says Shahil. Delamere says Everton are not a joke club. Also, Rafa wants to sign Harry Winks and Adam Ramsey. We had many players, 6 to 7 categories, says Shahil. We need another centre-back like Yerry Mina, says Gamba. I agree. Rafa Benitez was also talking about Demarai Gray in today's press conference and the impact that Demarai Gray has had on Everton so far. He said, I knew about his quality and potential for a while. I was following him in Germany. It's just a question of having the right moments with the right manager. Still, he has to carry on working as hard as he is doing already and be more consistent. He also was very complimentary. Rafa Benitez was very complimentary about Ben Godfrey, specifically Ben Godfrey's tackle against Arsenal. Sorry, my mind went absolutely blank there. He said that very good. He was one of the key aspects of us getting 3 points. Obviously playing at left back. We're going to talk about Luca Digne as well in just a moment. So, yeah. A very interesting press conference from Rafa Benitez. Nothing too unusual. You know, again, very, very much of the sameness regarding that. Let's get into my predicted starting 11 then. Who do I think will start against Crystal Palace? As I said before, it will be a tough game. On Tommy Ashu, yes. It will be a tough game, but it's a game we must win. If we don't win this one, it for me, it is the definition of 1 step forward and 2 steps back. We've got to win. We've got to win on Sunday. It's simple. Palace are a decent side. They've got some really good players, but it's definitely a winnable game. Anyway, let's get into my predicted starting 11 then. We will be getting back in the live comments shortly, so if you haven't left a comment already and you want to, please do so. It only takes a second, and if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. If you could hit the like button as well, 40 odd people watching. If you could get to 30 likes, 26 now, that'd be absolutely fantastic. In goal, I'm going for Jordan Pickford. It wasn't a fault. Don't think he was a fault for the goal against Arsenal on Monday. He also didn't have an awful lot to do, to be fair. He made a couple of decent saves here and there, but he didn't have too much to do on Monday evening. And again, it pretty much goes without saying that Jordan will be starting on Sunday. Left back, I am going to go with Luca Digne. Now, obviously, this is a really interesting and disappointing situation for me. The whole situation with Luca Digne. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Luca Digne was completely left out of the game against Arsenal on Monday after what seems like a falling out or a disagreement with Rafa Benitez over, you know, the style of play or his position in the team or his responsibility within the team. Rafa Benitez did confirm on Monday that it wasn't an injury that kept Luca Digne out. It was more of a decision about the side. Obviously, Ben Godfrey played at left back, and to be fair, played very, very well at left back. Rafa Benitez has spoken about Luca Digne in his pre-game press conference today. He said Lucas was clear. The manager decides. He has been training today, and we will decide tomorrow. I think we need all of the players around to increase the competition in their team. Everybody has to be focused and realise the priority is the team. He also went on to say a little bit later on in the press conference, I don't want to talk too much about individuals. It's not fair on the group. What he has to do is make sure he keeps working hard and the team is ahead of any individuals. Now, I looked at this today and I sort of took it from a different angle. Now, I understand a lot of people are frustrated with Rafa Benitez because of this decision. Now, as I said it on Monday in the review to the Arsenal game, we don't know the full situation. We're not privy to all the information. We don't know exactly what's going on behind the scenes. You know, some people are saying that it's as big of a fallout that it might mean Luca Digne leaves the football club. Luca Digne himself come out on Instagram and said, don't believe everything you read in the newspapers or the media. It's not always right. The manager come out and said, it was just a case of I picked the team and Luca Digne wasn't in the team. Luca Digne come out and said, I wanted to play, but I wasn't picked. That's football. So we don't really know exactly the extent. What we can assume and what we can sort of gauge is it wasn't an injury. And there's a lot of reports floating around at the moment that it wasn't just a decision regarding the team news. Because if it was, then Luca Digne would have probably been on the bench. If it was just a decision of he hasn't been very good, we're going to drop him and try something else. He wasn't on the bench. He wasn't even in the squad for a big game, a game that we must win. Now, Luca Digne, I'd admit, hasn't been very good this season. He hasn't. He's had a really poor start to the season, and he hasn't contributed as much as what he usually does. I get that, but he still is one of our best players. Creatively, he still is our biggest outlet in the side, and to not even have him within the squad of such a big game, for me, says that there's some form of falling out there. Now, it's interesting that Rafa Benitez mentions competition, because I've been saying for a long time, and I know a lot of people have, that Luca Digne simply doesn't have any competition in this Everton team. Luca Digne's best season at Everton was his first. His first season, when he was scoring goals consistently, he was getting assists consistently, and that first season was the season that Leighton Baines was behind him on his tail. Leighton Baines was behind him, providing that competition, and the manager at the time, Marco Silva, knew that if Luca Digne wasn't up to scratch, he could take him out, and Leighton Baines could fit in there and do just as good of a job, because Leighton Baines still technically was an unbelievable footballer, even when he was coming towards the end of his career. Fitness-wise and stamina-wise, yes, he wasn't quite there, but technical ability-wise, he was still an unbelievable footballer, even in his last game for the football club. So Luca Digne had that competition. Then even in the second season, Luca Digne had that competition from Leighton Baines, and last season was the first season that obviously there was nobody there. Now, we had Niles Nkunku there, who was a young, obviously, left back, didn't get much opportunity from Carlo Ancelotti. You had Ben Godfrey there, who played when Luca Digne was out injured last December. But there wasn't an awful lot of competition for him. Now, he's come into this season under Rafa Benitez, and there's absolutely no competition whatsoever. And I've said a couple of times, I think that every single footballer, no matter how good you are, no matter if you're the best in the world or you're just a standard, decent level footballer, every player needs competition. Every player needs competition, because you haven't. Subconsciously in your brain, you go, well, I know that no matter how badly I play, I'll be in next week, because there's nobody to come in and replace me. There's nobody there fighting for my position. And so Luca Digne might unconsciously be thinking that. He might be thinking, I'm giving everything every week. But subconsciously, at some point, his body or his brain will go, there's nobody here even fighting for your position, so you can't afford to take this extra hour's rest. You can't afford to give a little less in training, because nobody's going to be there fighting for your position. If you've got somebody there knocking on the door, if Luca Digne had another left back there knocking the door down, now okay, you could say, well, why did the club get rid of Thierry Small? Why did the club allow Thierry Small to leave so easily? Why did the club loan out Niles Nkunku? I get all of that, but the reality is, those situations with those two players are sort of, obviously they have an involvement in this conversation because they're both left backs, but the point is they've gone, and Luca Digne has got no competition whatsoever. So he's not looking over his shoulder thinking, if I'm not at my absolute best, if I'm not providing for the team, I'm going to get my position taken. He's looking over his shoulder thinking, there's nobody there, so doesn't matter how badly I play, I'm getting in this team week in, week out. Now, I'm not saying he does think like that, but as I said, for me, every single player at every single level needs competition. Footballers perform much, much better when there's competition there, when they know their place is at risk. And Luca Digne is no different, and Luca Digne needs competition at Everton. He needs another left-back that he understands if he's not at his best, that said other left-back will come in and take that position. And maybe that's what Rafa Benitez is trying to do. Maybe he's trying to show Luca Digne that he isn't sort of, he isn't immune to being dropped, or he isn't immune to criticism, or he isn't immune to, putting in countless bad performances after bad performances and getting away with it. He will be taking out the team, and Ben Godfrey can play there. Now, as I said, I don't think it's as easy as that, because if that was the case, I think he'd have been on the bench. He wasn't on the bench, so obviously there's been some form of falling out between the manager and the player, which for me is nonsense, by the way. I don't care how I don't care what Luca Digne said or what Rafa Benitez has said. They're both adults. They're both fully grown adults. Get it sorted out for the better of this football club. Luca Digne not being involved in games of football for Everton doesn't help Everton. Even though he's not been great this season, he still is one of our most, if not our most, creative outlet. So him not being picked because of a disagreement is nonsense. Absolute nonsense. So if it is a disagreement, sort it out, shake hands, move on, and and do what's best for the football club. But I do agree, Luca Digne, as well as everybody else, needs competition, because players play better when there's competition. and it's as simple as that. But having said that, I do think Luca Digne will be in the starting 11 on Sunday, because I think that I think Rafa Benitez understands that there's a lot of Evertonians that weren't happy with the decision to take him out, or even given how good Ben Godfrey was against Arsenal, because he was very good against Arsenal. And I also think that given Yerry Mina is out injured now, can I see Rafa Benitez going with Michael Keane and Mason Holgate as a defensive partnership? Although Mason Holgate done well against Arsenal when he come on, I don't think he would start with that defensive partnership. So I am going to go with Luca Digne at left back. Hopefully he is in, and hopefully if he is, he does get in there. He shows why he deserves to be in there week in, week out. This could be the game that Luca Digne absolutely rips it up in, because he wants to show that he shouldn't be getting dropped. Even though he shouldn't be immune to being dropped, because no player should be. I'm going to go with Ben Godfrey and Michael Keane at centre-back. As I said, Yerry Mina picked up that injury against Arsenal. He is unavailable for this one. Ben Godfrey was immense against Arsenal at left back. Done his job to the level that he needed to, threw in the challenges that he needed to get the crowd going, as Rafa Benitez spoke about today. Worked his heart out, up and down the line, making those runs, making those challenges. He was great, and I don't necessarily think it benefits Ben Godfrey for him to be constantly changing position. 1 minute he's at left back, the next minute he's at right back, the next minute he's at centre back. I don't think that benefits him whatsoever, but I do think that that's the nature of the situation Everton are in, is that Ben Godfrey is going to be moved about constantly this season. And I do think we'll see him back at centre-back next to Michael Keane. Michael Keane, I thought, was decent against Arsenal. Okay, there was a couple of moments where he was a little bit shaky, but for more often than not, I thought he done well. He kept himself okay. Arsenal weren't great, and certainly in an attacking sense they weren't threatening an awful lot, but he still done everything that he needed to do. Right back, I'm going with Seamus Coleman. I think Seamus was much better against Arsenal than he has been in recent weeks. He actually gave that extra 5-10% on the pitch, rather than doing it to the crowd after the game. He gave it on the pitch. He made a couple of really big sliding challenges, really big blocks to deny Arsenal from getting clear goal scoring opportunities. And as I said, Seamus will start on Sunday, and hopefully he can have that same impact on this game. If you're enjoying, by the way, hit that thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Into the midfield then, I've gone with a 3 in midfield, because I just think it would be absolutely ridiculous if Rafa Benitez didn't go with the 3 in midfield. I've gone for Alan, Abdoulaye Doucouré and Andre Gomez. Now, okay, albeit, the manager's come out today and said that Alan has only done half a training session today, so there is I suppose a possibility that Alan won't be available. But let's just go under the assumption that he will be available, because we don't know of any injury. As I said, I think the manager has to go with the 3 in midfield. I do. I think the 3 allows Abdoulaye Doucouré to get forward an awful lot more, break into the box, be that box-to-box, midfielder. If there's only a 2 in midfield, Doucouré, I don't think is comfortable being that box-to-box midfielder, because I think he almost knows that Alan isn't blessed with the most pace. He isn't blessed with being the most athletic footballer. So I think Doucouré understands that if he exerts too much going forward, he could leave Alan exposed defensively. Whereas if you've got somebody else next to Alan, i.e. Andre Gomez, who was very, very good against Arsenal when he come on, I think it allows a little bit more freedom to Abdoulaye Doucouré, and that's exactly what we need. As I said, Andre Gomez for me was absolutely excellent when he come on against Arsenal, moving forward, using his physicality, his passing was spot on. He had a big involvement in both goals, and I think it would be really silly for Rafa Benitez to not go with 3 in midfield, considering we've been calling for it for weeks and it showed it worked on Monday night. And I think it would be unfortunate for Andre Gomez to not get his opportunity, given how good he was and how big of an impact he had on Monday. So I've gone with 3 in midfield: Alan, Doucouré and Andre Gomez. Doucouré being that little bit more of a box-to-box midfielder, but allowing him to break into those forward areas a lot more. And then I've gone with 3 up top: Demarai Gray, Richarlison and Andros Townsend. It was a mix between Andros Townsend and Anthony Gordon for me. I don't think Andros Townsend was particularly great on Monday. I also don't think Anthony Gordon was particularly great. He worked hard, he ran round, he got involved, but his end product wasn't brilliant. I just think the manager would go with Andros Townsend over Anthony Gordon at this stage, if I'm being honest with you. The other two on the other hand, Richarlison and Demarai Gray, were absolutely unbelievable. absolutely unbelievable. Richarlison, as I said before, and as I said on Monday, it could well be his best game in an Everton shirt, in my opinion. He was everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. He didn't drop his head once, not when the first offside goal was given. Didn't drop his head. He picked himself up. He kept going. Not when the second was given. He picked his head up. He kept going. He got the third in the end. And Demarai Gray, of course, was just exceptional. And his winning goal was... I'm stuck for words, to be honest with you. I'm lost for words to describe it. So there you go. That is my predicted starting 11. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? If you disagree with it, what parts do you disagree with it? Who would your predicted starting 11 be? Get them in the live comments before we finish up. If you're enjoying as well, please hit that like button. If you're watching a YouTube video, get your comments down below and we'll get involved with as many of them as we can. Shahil says, Aaron mistake meaning it's bad. European Champion League can't, looking for new players. Crystal Palace is tough at defence. Yeah, Willie says, hi mate, great show. Hopefully we can get the results against Palace and move forward up the top. He says, right mate, thank you very much, Willie. Really appreciate that. Tom says, Gray deserves an England call-up. I agree. Will says, Digne has been poor for a while now. When you can get him going forward, he's sensational, but defensively, he's simply not good enough. I hope he can get back to the old Luca Digne. I think we all do, mate. Gamba agrees, says Digne hasn't played well for a while. Dave says, I would like to see Digne moved up to a winger and see how that goes. Well, he played on the wing, didn't he? Once, I think, last season. And Nkunku played left back. I think it might have been in one of the cup games, and he was okay. He was okay. But maybe that's an option. It would have to be, I think, in a sort of a formation that allows two wingers, two strikers. I don't think Digne as a left winger in a front three would be particularly great. But who knows? Guarav says Everton won't be able to beat Palace. They play better football than Arsenal. Gallagher, Benteke on form, Eze is back, and Alize is amazing. Is Eze back? I didn't even realise Eze is back. He is obviously a fantastic footballer as well. Guadav Wyatt Arsenal in 7th then, says Will. Shahil says, I'm still believe that relegation. Listen, I don't think we'll get relegated, but I still think we could very much be in a tough relegation battle if we don't start really picking up points. And Leicester, fan chance says, I hate football, me. Join the club, mate. Join the club. Andy says, yes, Cam, huge game this time to build some momentum. Yes, Navi says, Rafa said Rondon is fit, so it'll probably be a 100% chance he starts. I wouldn't understand any circumstance in which Rondon starts, to be honest with you. Given how good Richarlison and Demarai Gray were on Monday, and Richarlison was as a striker, it wouldn't make any sense. Thomas says, at Wolves as well, set up a Wobie. Don't know what we're talking about there. Is that Dean? Demons on? I can't remember. Anyway, look, we're gonna finish it up there. Then this will be a tough game. It will be a tough game on Sunday. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But it's a game that we must win. And as I said, it's a game that we've simply got to keep that momentum up. Got to keep that that confidence going, and we've got some really difficult games coming up in the next week or so, and this is a tough game, but it's certainly a winnable game. Well, there you go. Big thanks to everybody for watching. If you have enjoyed it, please do hit that like button. If you watched in the live comments, I really do appreciate it for getting involved. If you're watching as a YouTube video, get your thoughts down below in the comments, and we'll get involved with as many of them as we can. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. That would mean a massive amount to me. And if you have enjoyed this one, please do leave a like. We will be back on Sunday, of course, with the instant match reaction and the player ratings to this one, so don't forget to join us for them. And maybe we'll have another live stream tomorrow talking specifically about Yerry Mina. I don't know yet. I'll have to see what the score is with Christmas shopping again. But anyway, big thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this one, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you soon on The Mighty Blues.